assuming the developed countries are not showing interest, if they were to look the other way, Ebola will consume the whole of Africa because we are helpless. Why must our future continue to depend on others? Arrogant people that don't even know that we are behind. That is the calamity. Somebody will tell me, oh, we are making paracetamol. That's a lie. We bring in the active ingredients and process it into tablets. That is not manufacturing. That's deceit. And the leadership, they are always rushing to Europe, always rushing to America. So they don't even know that there's a problem in Africa. There's a serious problem in Africa. Dangote has started something. We need to create more Dangotes in various fields. And that is the solution to our problem, not what we are doing now. Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Caesar Osaheni Iyayi. I am your advocate for the industrial development and industrial manufacturing of Africa and in Nigeria in particular. Today, I want to talk about the Ebola outbreak in Africa. Before that, maybe about a month ago or so, we had the Hunter virus in Cape Verde, which is also part of Africa. And that Hunter virus was arrested not by Africans, it was arrested by European countries. I'm going somewhere, I want you to follow me. The outbreak that we have now in the Congo and Uganda spreading to South Sudan, it's a new virus, a new strain that has no known vaccine. The one we had earlier on during the time of Obama was arrested by the effort of the World Health Organization. My point is this: we have this outbreak in Africa, we have it in Congo, we have it in Uganda, spreading to South Sudan. The medication that will be used to treat the patients that are affected, the vaccine that will eventually be developed to counter this very strain of Ebola virus, we do not have the capability to make any of it in Africa. In fact, we do not have any capability to manufacture any medication or manufacture anything from raw material in Africa. That is a shame. Yes, of course, we are now making fertilizer from gas and ammonia. That is okay, but we need more of that. But talking about biochemistry and medication, the investment to do that is not beyond our reach. Yet, the whole of Africa, assuming that Western countries and the developed countries, industrialized countries, are not showing interest in Africa, if they were to look the other way, Ebola will consume the whole of Africa because we are helpless. Our priorities are completely misplaced. We do not have any plan. We do not know that we do not know. We do not know that we are ignorant. We are full of arrogance, full of pride, we are full of deceit. We pride ourselves as the author and the champion of political engineering. And what does that mean? We are able to manipulate the result of election to favor one particular group. And that is why I've been stressing all along, and I want to repeat it here now, that one of the primary reasons why we are not able to focus on industrialization is because of this idea of democracy. We need to form just one party system where the party alone can decide. They don't need to waste money anymore on who will win the election. It's a distraction. For the past 1 year, we have been distracted from development, focusing on election. Imagine if we don't have to do that. If it's only at the party level you will choose a president, at the party level you will choose a governor, and whatever, even the House of Rep and Senate, they are too big. Just a small thing. So that we can now know that whoever is there as a president doesn't need to worry about pleasing anybody that is disingenuous. We cannot have the time to focus our resources, no matter how small it is, on industrial manufacturing, because that is the way we are going to solve our problems. Right now, who are providing medication to Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda? 1, India. 2, Doctors Without Borders. 3, World Health Organization. The United States. Very soon, Britain and the Netherlands and other European countries, they will supply medications, they will supply materials for hospital treatments and all that. And they will get involved in the science to discover a vaccine for this particular strain and save the black race again. Why must our future continue to depend on others? Arrogant people, people that don't even know that we are behind. That is the calamity. Because if we knew we are already behind, we'll be making efforts to see how we can go forward. We have not even started. We have not even made any efforts. We are just jumping here and there, shouting about politics and who is the political juggernaut, who is going to be in this position, who's going to be in the other position, how much are you going to bring to buy votes and all that. All these are contributing to the problems that we have that will not allow us to commence the process of industrialization. We have to have that ability to make our own medications. We cannot. Somebody will tell me, oh, we are making paracetamol. That's a lie. We bring in the active ingredients and then process it into tablets. That is not manufacturing. That's deceit. We need to understand that without the white race as of today, we will be completely in darkness. Everything that we enjoy is a product of the industrialized world. United States, Britain, France, China, Japan, South Korea, India. Where is Africa? Africa is not contributing to the development of mankind. As a matter of fact, we are the problem of mankind. We pose problems. We produce so many children, and so many of them are crossing the Mediterranean to go to Europe, rushing to go to Canada, rushing to go to the US, and they don't want us there anymore. But what can they do? We don't have manufacturing centers here. You cannot sell commodity and become rich. You cannot sell commodity and be able to pay your workers salaries that will give them a reasonable standard of living. You cannot move our people from poverty to the middle class without industrialization. And that is the problem. Save for these countries, Ebola will spread everywhere and we don't even have any solution. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. All the sarin that we are blaring everywhere, we should blare it to a point where we go and sit down and ask, how do we become part of the industrialized world? That should be our motive. Not to just bless sarin somewhere, you sit down and then you ask, how do we put this man in this position? This is my favorite candidate. And how do we manipulate results? That is not the way to go. I completely have a disdain for democracy because no matter who you pick, it is the same result you are going to get. The one that is coming is worse than the one that they are trying to push out. That is the dilemma of Africa. So what is the summary? The summary is that without the industrialized world of the America, of the China, of the Indians, of the Japanese, of the South Koreans, Africa will be a complete darkness. All their clothing, they bring them to us. All their vehicles, they bring them to us. All their medication, they bring them to us. What are we contributing? Only raw material. That is a shame. The challenge and the painful aspect of it all is that we have not even begun. Assuming that we have made some efforts now, say we are starting a manufacturing plant at a place where we have gas, where there'll be 24/7 lights, and we can manufacture one product or the other. I will say, yes, we have started. But we are not doing that now. So we have not started anything at all. All we do now is show a lot of arrogance and pride. And the leadership, they are always rushing to Europe, always rushing to America. So they don't even know that there's a problem in Africa. But I tell you, there's a serious problem in Africa. There's a serious problem in Nigeria. The population rate is growing so fast, and you cannot create jobs for them. The time will come where people will become so restless and you can't control the youth anymore. There will be chaos. What you see in South Sudan, in Congo, will be a minimal disturbance. This one will be of a calamitous scale, a scale that you cannot even imagine. We need to wake up urgently to start to think of how we can begin the process of industrial manufacturing, so that the way we have Ebola now, we cannot be part of the solution to look for vaccine that can cure this new strain of Ebola. We should be part of the solution, not just the problem. That is the issue. I want people, whether they are leaders or private citizens, it is all our responsibility, because we end up praising people in power even when they are not doing anything right. You know they are not doing anything right, just keep quiet. You don't need to praise people when they are not doing the right thing. We need to remind them that we're not criticizing them. We're not saying that they must leave power. They can be in power. They should listen to advice. They should listen to sound industrial development advice so that we can begin. Mao Zedong, when he started the great trek against the powers in China that he eventually overthrew, he said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So if you don't start, you cannot finish. We need to start. No matter how small it is, let us start. Dangote has started something. We need to create more Dangotes in various fields. And that is the solution to our problem. Not what we are doing now. Increasing tax. In Nigeria, they said this year they are going to be able to raise 40 trillion of tax. From where? They are going to squeeze people who have a margin that is so tight, so small. If you squeeze them more than that, the company will go belly up. And then you create more problems for the community, for the country. The solution is to have industrial manufacturing where you have commodities that are selling for 100 naira. You can add value to it. You cannot sell it for 2,000 naira. That is the magic. That is the solution. Not just taxes alone. If you focus on only taxes, you are going to fail. Because the revenue that we derive now, both taxes and oil money, can only pay for the interest that we pay to service our debt in Nigeria. So every year, we have to borrow. How long can that continue? How long? We have to think about that. The solution is industrial manufacturing, when you add value. That is why Russia is so poor. Russia has commodities that they export, yet their economy is just about $2 trillion. Japan doesn't have any raw material. They are only about 80-something million people, and their GDP is over 5 trillion, more industrialized than Russia, which has the largest landmass in the whole world. So I close with you by saying that I do not criticize, I provide solutions. My solution is that we should focus on industrial manufacturing, not depending on national grid, to create power at a place where you have gas, put factories there, bring expatriates there, and we start manufacturing things. You can even manufacture medicine. As we have Ebola, our scientists will now have the capacity to start looking for solutions on how to deal with this Ebola strain. And that is the way it ought to be. China 50 years ago was not part of the development of mankind. Today, they are number 2 in the world. So it is, if Nigeria can begin something, you will see that in 4 or 5 years, there will be a great leap. See what Dangote has done within 3-4 years. Now, this year, we are not only going to be self-sufficient in urea production, we are going to be exporting urea, fertilizer. What does that mean? It means that we don't have to spend money to bring in petroleum. We don't have to spend money to bring in urea. Then, what you export, you now have additional income. People there, they will earn more money, and they have raised the standard of living for people working there. If you have 100 places like that, 1,000 places like that, Nigeria will become one of the top 5 countries in the world. That is possible. I remain your advocate for the industrial development of Africa and Nigeria in particular. My name is Dr. Caesar Osaheni Yayi. Until next time, bye-bye.